Hello, everyone. Welcome back to AX Football. This is Rick.
You got Iron Body here, another day, dropping our junk foods.
We took a little
Why are you
break.
laughing, man?
We took a little break over the holidays. Uh, been busy working or catching up with families, but now we're back to catch up on football. Looks like
So
there's
speak for
been a lot.
yourself, man.
It's been a lot going on. Let's start with the Christmas period, the Premier League. They didn't have the 40 games in 17 days that they were talking about, but they were some games. Who's looking good? Who did well over the past couple of weeks here?
Man, I think City pretty much won the league over Christmas, man. Santa showed up at their door for sure. And Chelsea, I think, kind of four ties out of their last 5 games. That's it for them. Liverpool 2 ties and 1 loss. I don't want to write them out, but I almost think it's pretty much game over for them too. Arsenal, I think, came up looking pretty good, only 1 loss. And United, I think, even though it's only 1 loss, they had some game in hand and they let the last one slip. I'm actually not a fan of having game in hand. I'd rather have the points because you never know, especially with all this stuff going on, COVID, all this stuff, you miss a player here or there. So Arsenal had 3 games in hand. Everybody thought Spurs and United will catch up to them, and those two dropped some games on the game in hands they've played. So I think pretty much City won the league. I still believe Liverpool finished second. I think somebody who finished third, I have picked United or Spurs to finish third and Chelsea fourth. And I still believe that'll be the case. I just think Chelsea's form right now is not looking good. And they have a little drama in the camp too. So
Well, Lukaku was celebrating the goals with his teammates, doing the sure sign to the Spurs fans today. So it looks like he's back on Chelsea's side, supporting them and throwing a little banter back at the opposing fans. Let's go back to Spurs here for a second. So they're still only 18 games played. They have 3 games in hand, sitting on 33 points. If they win all 3 of those games, they could actually jump up to second. Do you think they'll be able to do it?
I think so. The way they've been playing the last couple of games has actually been pretty impressive. You can actually see like they don't have the players that the coach wants, but they look more of a team. They're working harder. And Son and Kane especially starting to score now. So once he start firing, 3 games getting 3 points, and it's all momentum. Once they start believing it a little bit, they'll be hard to stop. And we all know Conte is a freaking winner, man. The guy wins wherever he goes. So I think he's starting to get the guys to buy in. So I think they have the best. I don't know what the games are, but I think they're going to be good at coming out of this. I don't think West Ham will sustain that position though, so I think they'll fall off.
Yeah, everyone's saying West Ham is probably the shakiest team that's in that top 6 right now, and then they'll also be starting Europa League next month. So that's gonna take another toll on the roster as well. Liverpool obviously have their next couple of Premier League games coming up, and they'll be without Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah. And even when they do return, I don't know if they'll be in the best form. Obviously, the travel, the jet lag, the extra miles they'll be putting in their legs. So that could be interesting to watch as well. Uh, let's look at the bottom of that relegation battle. Burnley, they had a ton of games in hand. Now they're playing the games. They're losing the games, getting their butts whooped. Who do you think is going to go down at the end of the season here?
I think Norwich, they've been done a long time. So I think even though the gap between them and 17th it's only 3 points. I think it'll be tough for them. So I think Norwich will go down. It'll be good for them to go down, man. They've been fucking kicking long balls for too long. So it'll be good for them to drop. And I think I'm leaning towards, I think Watford would be, I'm deciding between Watford and Leeds. I honestly think Newcastle will find a way out. to survive. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Watford because I think Leeds have a lot of injuries, and you have to assume that some of these players will be coming back soon. So if that's the case, I think they should do just fine. So I think Watford will go down.
Yeah, I'm in a similar situation between Leeds and Watford. Not quite sure who, but you would think Leeds would, once Patrick Bamford is fit, Rafinha's fit and playing, Rodrigo's fit and playing, be able to score the goals to win games that they're not being able to win at the moment. 7 draws, I think they have this season. It's
That's
not good. But Norwich and Burnley for sure, I think, are going to go down. It's just a matter of who that third team is. Could even be Newcastle. Who knows? Depends how they spend right now. All the only talk I hear is about bringing in Kieran Trippier, which is a good move defensively, decent move offensively. He's an outside back who can get forward. But I still think they need to buy another proper center back and maybe even a better defensive midfielder if they're going to stand a chance.
Yeah, I know Ramsey. They wanted to get Ramsey, but he's saying no because obviously he probably doesn't. The uncertainty is a little bit dangerous. You go over there, it's not like a loan or something. You go over there, they get relegated, and now you're stuck there, So, but to be honest with you, if I was a Ramsey type, how old is Ramsey? 20, 30? I think
Yeah, it's got to be like 31 or 30, 32 maybe.
Yeah, okay, then maybe not. But if I'm a player that's around 28, to be honest with you, I'll go to Newcastle with the money they have. Even if you get relegated, come back up next year in your third year, you're pretty established in the Premier League, and you probably go down as the longest serving, and in some ways become almost like a club legend, for the new era. You also get paid on top of it. So I think at the right 27, 20, 28, if you're around 28, I think is the perfect time because you won't get another big contract after that. So sports, people say, oh, it's sports, they're playing soccer or whatnot. It's still a job at the end of the day, and you want to get paid. So that's what I'll do. If I was one of these players, Ramsey, I get his point, but I'm like, buddy, where else are you going to go? They're talking about maybe him going to like an Aston Villa or someplace like that. Would he get the minutes that he wants? And they're still not going to win. He's not going to go to any of the top 6 clubs, I don't think. So if you don't go to any of those, you're not winning regardless. So if you're not going to win, you might as well get paid. It's common sense.
Yeah, and so I did check, and he is 31, so he's getting on the old side. I don't think anyone's going to pay massive money or massive wages to him. I honestly think he should go to Newcastle regardless of if they get relegated or not. He's guaranteed minutes, guaranteed a decent paycheck, more than other people are willing to pay him, I'm sure. So I guess we'll all see.
But he's making 400,000 a week at Juve. So Newcastle can pay him that. Nobody else can pay him that money. He has to take a pay cut.
Yeah, even if he goes to Newcastle, I think he has to take a pay cut. There's no way anyone's gonna pay over 300 grand for him a week, unless he goes to China or something.
Oh man, China ain't happening anymore. They even tell players that they can't have tattoos, man. What's wrong with these guys? No, he probably have to look at like Qatar or something like that, man, especially in a World Cup year. But I don't know. I think he's in a tricky situation. He's not old, but he's not young either. He's kind of in between. So go wherever they pay you, or you might think this might sound funny. I won't mind seeing him at a club like Wolves. I think that would be like a good fit for him. If they can pay in half of what he's getting right now, you might have a chance of winning something here or there. And you're not at the bottom team, but you're not at the top team, and then see what happens from there.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good shout. Wolves, maybe like a Brighton, Crystal Palace, those type of teams. They're a little bit progressive. They play good football, so I think it would fit his style. And then obviously he'll get lots of minutes. He'll be one of the more experienced players. But we'll see. I think maybe his ego is still a little bit too big. He'll be thinking he can go somewhere better. But I don't know. Sometimes you got to take what you can get.
Yep.
And speaking of egos, we got another big name player who thinks he's getting another big move. Lots of links coming out today. Philippe Coutinho, where do you think he lands?
Well, I have the first waiver in fantasy, so I was literally debating if he comes to Premier League, do I take him or wait for a bigger player? Now I think he should go to Aston Villa. I think that would be a good fit for him. If he doesn't do that, once again, a club like Wolves would be good for him. If Pedro Neto comes back on one side, Coutinho on the other side, I think because Wolves look good everywhere except for scoring. So if they can get somebody to just get the goals for them, they'll be set. I won't be surprised if he goes to a club like Spurs either. But I think Wolves, Spurs, or Aston Villa, those would be three clubs I'll go to for his level where he's played. He should probably look to go to one of the top 6 clubs. And out of that, the only ones I can see is maybe Arsenal, going to an Arsenal. But right now, the Arsenal has some youngsters playing really well. So most likely, he might not get the minutes he wants for a veteran. So I'll give a shout out to Wolves, Brighton, and Aston Villa. One of those 3 should be pretty good for him. Obviously, they have to be able to pay him his wage a week, but wages always come into play.
Yeah, he was linked with Everton as well as one of the other Premier League clubs supposedly interested in signing him. I don't think he would fit in very well at Everton, and
No.
Everton, similar to Manchester United, I think has an issue where there's an identity crisis between what the coach wants and what the coach wants to do and the players he has available. So I think it's going to be a question of, okay, does Benitez want to get rid of some of these more progressive, more technical footballers and bring in more hardworking players to fit his 4-4-2? Or can Benitez be a little bit more flexible and play like a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 and fit some of his more technical players into that system? But as the saying goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
I mean, the thing is, you gotta understand football has changed, man. You can't control a game without having the ball, regardless of what people want to say. Your Jose's and your even Conte and well, whatever. What's the guy that just got fired at Spurs? I forgot his name. Nuno. So they were the type of coaches that can control a game, giving you possession. Unfortunately, football has changed. Even the lowest sides are playing football. And if they have the ball, most likely, sooner or later, they will score. So that's why I don't even believe in counter-attack football, because you counter-attacking the whole game to maybe get one decent chance. The other team is possessing around your 18. Even if you're a better team, like Manchester United just found out, even though they are better players, Wolves kept pressuring. Eventually, they scored. So I think that's what Benitez is having the issue with, is he does have the technical players. Granted, he's had some big injuries, and they're starting to come back. So I'm hoping, Gomes and all those guys, I'm hoping he'll start playing them more. I think if he does, it's not a bad squad. But he cannot go, hey, you have the ball and we'll defend and, hey, you're on the counter on the break once in a while. It just doesn't work anymore. Everybody plays football now, or at least tries to play.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I actually do think Wolves would be a better move for him than Aston Villa.
I think so. I think so too.
We saw some interesting scores this past weekend in La Liga, and the gap for Real Madrid doesn't look that big anymore. I think a couple of weeks ago we both said that they would win the league for sure, but now it's not looking so sure. Sevilla has a game in hand on Real Madrid, and they're only 5 points behind. So if they win, the cuts to 2 points at the top for Real Madrid. Do you think they can hold on to this, or are they gonna throw this one away? Let Sevilla win this in 20 years.
I mean, I still think they'll be fine. The thing that Sevilla maybe gives them a lot advantages, man. This year they're not conceding goals. So I think they've conceded the least amount of goals in the league. 13, Real Madrid has conceded 17. So they're not conceding too many, and their scoring is not bad. 19 games, 30 goals. So the defensive side might give them a chance, but I still think Real Madrid should have enough firepower. Is I think Sevilla struggle beating some of the other top sides, while Real Madrid should be able to get points from some of the other top sides. So, I mean, the game they lost this past weekend was bad to a pretty lower end team, you know, but I think they'll be fine. One game in hand, even if they win, it drops it to 2 points. I still think Real Madrid will end up finishing ahead of them. Barcelona is making a nice run up too. So now they're in 5th place, only a point behind. A win and they can get into 3rd place. So that their rise has been pretty quick. Because I think when Xavi came, they were in 9th place. And now they've moved up to 9th place. And I think they were like 8 points behind 4th or whatever. And they've moved up pretty quick. So you got to give the guy credit. And he's dropped some pretty big names on the team, you know. So I think I had him finishing top 4, just getting in at 4th. But I think they might go a little bit higher, to be honest with you, if they keep playing this way.
Yeah, and I think it is interesting that he's able to get the results, even with some of the younger kids being the more prominent players. So hopefully it could only get better if they get players like Depay and Ansu Fati back fit and playing.
Yeah. I don't think he likes Depay, to be honest with you.
No, I don't think he does either.
It doesn't fit, you know. So I think once Ferran Torres is there, I think his front line will probably be like Torres, Dembele, and probably he's playing on that Gabi something left. I think he might do all Ansu Fati comes to play him left. I think that'll be his front 3, and then have Puig, Gavi, and Busquets as a central, and then I don't know what he does for defense, but I think if you put that in, they're young, but man, that's pretty deadly combinations. Everybody's technical, they can move the ball. They'll be pretty hard to stop, which it sucks for Depay because he was doing good in France. Goes over to La Liga to a Dutch coach. He was getting a lot of playing time, and now I think he's on shaky grounds, you know?
Yep. No, and I almost forgot about Pedri. So I think it's going to be an interesting battle between Puig, Gavi, and Pedri to see who.
Yeah, him too. Yep, because he's coming back. Yep.
I'm sure he's going to want to keep Busquets in there as long as the guy can walk, which to me is a shaky decision. But there's not a natural holding passing player who he has available who can sit there. So Busquets will definitely play, and then the youngsters can fight for the other 2 spots, I think. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. All right, Real Madrid, you saw them drop points at the weekend to Getafe. No Vinicius, no party.
Yeah, and this one I think we've talked about. I never thought Vinicius will. He always had the skill, but his decision making, I still think like he does some dumb stuff, you know, tripping over the ball and stuff. But his end product has improved, and I'll be honest, his end product has improved because of Benzema. I think that has done him a lot of good playing with Benzema, moving, dragging 1 or 2 defenders out of the way so he can get more isolated. So those are the stuff that forwards, some high-end forwards do that a lot of people don't see, is that he's dragging the defenders out. Vinicius is getting his chance to go 1v1, and then obviously he's finishing better this year than he has in the past. But unfortunately, I think football, there's a couple positions that are dying, which would be the number 9, like a true out-and-out number 9. I think the only one we have right now under 30, I'll probably say is Haaland, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the only one, like a traditional 9. And then I think the number 10 position is dying too. So a lot of your usual, in the past, your number 10s were supposed to be creative, get you the goals, all that stuff. Now, they want get you your assists. Now they want your number 10s to get you the goals. So they're becoming players like Mason Mount, these type of players where they run up and down the field. They're more 8s playing high up the field. So I personally, I like the classic 9s, 10s, you know, especially the 10s, you know, with the creativity goals when their main objective was more creating. But like anything else, football adapts and those positions are dying. So if you have a kid and your kid goes, I'm a number 10, man, forget it, man. That kid is never making it. Nobody plays at 10. Shoot, I coach at club and I don't even play with a true 10 anymore. So
No, it's a tough position for sure. So yeah, it'll be interesting on the club side of it to see if people can be smart enough to see that transition coming. But obviously, where we coach in Minnesota, people aren't necessarily smart enough to evolve with the game. People have kind
and
of
the people we coach against are straight
since the
donkeys, man.
80s.
I'm telling you, the dumbest people in the state, man, for coaching, man. Half of the time when I go to coach, man, I laugh in my head, like how the hell did this person call themselves a coach? And they have their A license and you name it, and it's like, yeah, whatever. I don't know. It's a playing ground for me, I guess. And I see what you do too. So it's just for fun.
Let's see what else have we got going on here. Oh, Real Madrid's next match is against Valencia, so that'll be an interesting one. See if they pace at the top of the table, or this could actually be another opportunity for them to drop points and everyone else to catch up.
Yeah, that should be good. Unfortunately, now I don't get La Liga, so I don't see the games as much as I used to. ESPN Plus is grabbing everything now, and they almost got the ESPN almost got Premier League thing too. Man, I was glad they didn't get that one.
And those numbers aren't jokes, man. The numbers from all the beds, I was like, Jesus.
Yeah. Oof. Soccer is a serious business. I mean, the amount of people that watch the game it's insane, so you get the rights to it and you live in pretty good.
No, I saw an article the other day, actually related to MLS. We won't talk about MLS too much because it's not very good, but somebody who said that they were season ticket holders for a baseball team for like 20 years said that this year they didn't get it. They got season tickets for Columbus Crew or Columbus for MLS because it's been more exciting and they're seeing a lot more marketing for MLS than they are for baseball now. So I guess the sport is going in the right direction in this country, and I guess MLS is doing a pretty good job of marketing. I honestly don't see it too much, but apparently this guy has seen enough of it where he's deciding to switch his season tickets.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything, right? With time, the one thing people know here in America is business, man. They'll figure it out sooner or later. I still think the unfortunate part is that even when they get to the very top, I'm a soccer enthusiast, but I don't watch MLS because it's just not good. I don't care what they say. They're making progress, but it's not where it needs to be at this point. And I think it comes from like the people who are actually making the decision as to who is a player, who is not a player. Half of them came from like the old generation. And I think they're missing the new generation type of players that are coming about. And that's the difference between here and Europe is they adapt pretty quickly, MLS is still kind of an old boys network. So until that kind of dies down a little bit, I think they'll struggle, And end of the day, until they get people from outside the country going, you know what, I want to stay up and watch an MLS game, they won't be able to compete. But people here, we wake up early to watch games, European games and whatnot, so.
A big day in the Serie A tomorrow. Got two pretty good matchups, AC Milan and AS Roma playing, and then Napoli versus Juventus also playing tomorrow in the Serie A. That's going to be two very good games there.
Yep. Roma, they tied their last game. They've lost 2 in their last 5. Jose is doing his thing, but unfortunately, I think, football has changed. He hasn't adapted quickly. I see Sean from Premier League. One that I heard was in Dumbledore. I'm like, you didn't play the guy at Spurs. Why would you try and buy him at Roma? But again, he didn't play Mkhitaryan at United, and he's playing him at Roma. So I think he probably gets a result out of that. Maybe not a win, but you get a tie. I think Juventus would be Napoli. And then that'll move Juventus, I believe. And they'll still be outside of the top four. They're 4 points behind Atlanta. I thought Atlanta would drop out, and it's looking that way. I thought Juventus would sneak to fourth. It's looking that way. And then now that I'm looking at the run they're on, they might just jump Napoli. Napoli has a way of always choking at the end every single year. For whatever reason, I don't know if they start chilling with the mafia guys end of the season in Naples or what, but every year. And I think Inter Milan and AC Milan, that's pretty close, 4 points between the two teams. Inter Milan won 5 in a row. AC kind of dropped off the last 5 games, 1 loss, 1 draw. Zlatan is doing his stuff. I don't know how at his age, only he will know, but I think Inter Milan will probably end up winning the league again. AC finishing second. Juventus, I had at 4, so I'll stick to that. Napoli at 3rd. Hopefully they can stay there. And then I think Roma just come outside, maybe 5th. Are you sticking to your original picks?
Well, I think originally I had Inter, AC Milan,
Fiorentina, I think you had.
Napoli, and I think Fiorentina I had as the 4th place. But they're falling off the pace a little bit. I think
They might Saudi a striker too.
Yeah, no, and that's the one that's gonna hurt them the most. They need that kid to stay.
What do you think about him?
Vlahovic, no, he's class, man. So I think besides Holland, he's the other natural number 9 who I think still exists in the game. Not too many of them, so that's why I think somebody's gonna spend big money on him. If it's not this winter, then definitely in the summer.
Okay, I think he reminds me a lot of Luca Toni. I don't even remember him.
Yeah, but Luca Toni was like tall and slow.
Yeah, this one, he doesn't, like, he can finish. I'll give him that. But I think, man, in the Premier League, his speed is not enough to really separate from players, you know? So he has to go to a team where everything will get done and all he has to do is finish, you know?
Yeah. But I think if you're talking about like Premier League strikers, Vlahovic is better than, I don't know, let's say Callum Wilson.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Better than Patrick Bamford, better than, I don't know, who else is like a mid-table like striker, like Neil Mopay, those kind of players.
Yep, that I agree.
He's about at the level or maybe just below like a Raul Jimenez at his peak.
Yep.
That's the kind of striker I think this guy is. Hard worker, works hard, technical. He can drop into the midfield and combine with others, and then obviously he can finish. So yeah, I think he's good enough to do it. If he wanted to go to the Premier League, I'm just not sure what team he would go to at the moment.
Arsenal is the one leading the race right now, and I think that won't be bad. You know, a lot of the work will be done below him, and it'll give him a really formidable core of young players. The problem that I see with Arsenal is that, unfortunately, I think they are a selling club, so they will lose one of their young players, whether it's Martinelli, Saka, Smith Rowe, or who's the other one? Yeah, those 3 mainly. I think they'll lose one of those 3. I think if Liverpool come calling for Saka, I think is an out and out like Arsenal player. Yeah. I think Martinelli or Smith Rowe, if a big club comes calling, they will make that move if they want to win anything. The problem is, you know, they all got into the national team at such a young age. So imagine, I don't know, let's just say Mason Mount go, yo, imagine if we both play at Chelsea, right? In the old days, man, those people used to play together, but they didn't even like each other.
Yep.
Now all the players are friends with social media and all that stuff, so it's very easy for them to convince another player to, hey, you should move over. Arsenal is not winning anything anytime soon. Obviously, we know money wins in football, You have City has money, Chelsea has money, United, they're not getting their money from one individual, but they generate the most. Who knows for how much longer? So that's three right there. Newcastle is in now. So just from a money perspective, that puts Arsenal outside of the top four.
Yep.
So those are the stuff that unfortunately
coming
it
with
just
their new Serbian money too.
man, that's East Europe money, man. That might not last, man. That might be a Ponzi scheme. The only money I believe in is oil money or Russian money, man. Those are the only two. American money is always freaking using like freaking financing and shit.
Yeah. It's crazy. And speaking of Arsenal being a selling club, Mourinho wants to bring in Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
That would be a good move, man.
Which would be a good move for him. I think he'll definitely get playing time. He's a good athlete. I think he can deal with the physicality of the Serie A. But there was a rumor that he was also interested in maybe going to Newcastle. So both, I think, decent landing spots.
Both are good.
And I do think Arsenal would rather sell him out of the league than to sell him in the league. So who knows? Mourinho might have his wish here.
I mean, it depends if his contract is running. No, because I don't know where his contract is. It's the other one that's Nketiah that hasn't signed yet. I don't know if now still has a couple years left. If he has 2 years left, then the decision is out of his hands. If he has 1 year left or it runs out in the summer, then I think he can dictate where he goes. And if I was saying once again, young enough, you have the skill set, you've already played in the Premier League. Italy, they don't pay that much in Italy, man. Them idiots are broke over there, man. So stay in England, get all your money, call it a day. And then stay there for 6-7 years, become a legend. Because Newcastle is going to move up. There's no way you have that much money and you don't move up. It's just even you have to be the dumbest leaders to not be able to move up with that much money.
Yeah. No, it'll be interesting. There's a few players. So Mbappe is one. He can sign a pre-contract this month, right? Some of the United boys actually. Pogba could sign a pre-contract if he wanted to. I don't think his contract has been figured out yet. Lingard could sign a pre-contract this month if he wants to leave. Dybala at Juventus could sign a pre-contract somewhere else.
I think he might end up at Spurs.
Yep, that's the rumor that I was reading as well, and I can see it happening. Who else is there? Origi at Liverpool. I don't think he'll leave. Everybody loves him at Liverpool, even though he barely plays. But if he's ambitious and wants to spread his wings a little bit, he could also sign a pre-contract. There was one more. Oh, Dembele, Barcelona.
Yeah, Dembele and Rudiger too.
Oh, yep, you're right.
And Rudiger can sign a pre-contract. I mean, like we've talked about for a couple of years now, it's looked like it's coming to reality. Is there's going to be a lot of people who are coming down who run their contracts down because from a business it makes sense. Why should I sign a 3-year contract? I get sold and I get 10% of it where I can go for free. And instead of the club getting 100 million, I get 40 million for coming for free or 25 million sign-on fee. So I think that's the way it'll go. And unfortunately, last time we talked about it's like, so how would the clubs combat this? I think unfortunately, soccer will get Americanized also, where the clubs will start dealing in trades. So instead of selling the player, they'll go, I'll give you this player if you give me this player, those type of stuff, so they don't lose money. Because right now, these are some of the biggest names in soccer right now, all walking for free, Power to their players, because clubs have been making money off them for years. So now they're kind of taking control a little bit. And I think you start having free agency in soccer, just like you have in American sports. Players free, they'll sit down the whole summer and go, everybody send me an offer. Whoever gives the best offer, I'll go over there. Simple as that. Which is the way I think it should be.
Yeah. from a transfer standpoint, yeah, I do think that's the model that we're gonna see pretty soon for soccer. Yeah, it's funny stuff. So United, everybody is getting on Ranić's back, saying that the 4-2-2-2 doesn't work, right? And some people are saying, oh, you should be coming in to try to coach the players you have in a system that suits them. And there are some other people saying, well, just get rid of those players and bring in players that you want. Well, which side of this argument are you on?
Well, a couple of things don't make sense. So, like I said, I don't want them past after his first game, even though the one they did well. I think my first message was to you was, I only want him there for 6 months. You better go upstairs and set up the football structure. That's what I think United need the most before you can somebody coming in and going, you know what? Go put a new roof on when the foundation is run. I'd rather have the person come and fix the foundation while he rents in my room for a couple months and then eventually fix the roof and I know I'm set. So I think I'm a fan of, I honestly don't think he's making the decision as to who plays. I think United, when United comes to sign a player, they tell him, hey, if you come to United, marketing, we have the biggest fans, this is how much money you make. So the players don't come to United for football reason. So that's kind of gotten them in a trap because you're looking at it and you go, okay, the guy said there's no such thing as a little bit of press. It's either you press or you're not, because there's no such thing as a little bit of pregnant, right? Well, United is not pressing. He said players like Luke Shaw wasn't United level. Luke Shaw has played the last 2 games. He said players over the age like Ronaldo, Messi cannot play in his system. Players have to be 28 or younger because of the amount of running they're demanding. And he's starting Ronaldo, who is 36, will be 37 next month, and then Cavani 35, and Matic, and Phil Jones. So the whole thing doesn't add up. I think he probably got a call from upstairs that go, hey, buddy, man, we paid this much money. We better play these players. It's either that or he's doing the German way of telling them, sure, I'll play all the players that you want so you can see how shit they are. Yep. Then you really listen to me. So I think it's one of those 2 things. Because if you look at it, United, in my opinion, have, if they're lucky, all the technical players are not playing. Telles, Pogba, Van de Beek, Martial, Lingard, who else? Lindelof, Sancho, Greenwood. I'll put Greenwood in there. I'll give Greenwood that. So that's 8 players that I've named. I'm probably forgetting somebody, but all of them are not playing. But then he talks about, he wants to control the game. How can you control the game when you have players that can pass the ball on the field? And that's literally what they did the last game. So I think, unfortunately, the job at hand is harder than he thinks. And United made the bigger mistake. I think I mentioned this to you way back when the players know that the coach is only going to be here for 6 months, they won't fight. Because even if they fight and they earn your trust, another coach might come in and might not like them. And they're not going to win the league anyway. So I think that's what he's trying right now is the motivation of the players. Because the players are sitting there going, dude, this guy's only here for 6 months. Actually, do the math, January, February, March, April, May. So now less than 6 months, he'll go into the front office unless they hire him as the full-time coach. And even if they do, if he doesn't like me now, he won't like me then. So why push myself, take the chance, get injured, walk up here? No, I'm not doing it. We're not winning the league. Who cares? And that's what he's running into. And then second of all, you can't make Cristiano Ronaldo the captain, bro. You have to give it to De Gea if Maguire is gone. Maguire should have never been the captain to begin with, but it shows you like the pressure is on him. Like you have to play Ronaldo. You have to play these players because United is the only team probably that gets people fly from all over the world to go watch them. So somebody comes from China, probably pay freaking 10 grand and Ronaldo is not on the field, United is going to lose money. So I think it's way over, it's bigger than he thought, and front office I think is perfect for him. I don't like his in-game management in terms of his substitutions. Last game taking Greenwood off was a head scratcher. Like he was their best player in the second half. Even the crowd was booing. I'm like, what are you watching? And he left
Well, that's
Cavani.
the easy move to make. You take off the
Yeah,
young.
because he's the young guy.
Yeah, we've
But that's the
already.
same thing that Ole used to do that pissed me off. Oh man, when Rashford, don't get me started on Rashford, man. Oh my God, the guy came on, he was trying to play a through pass, the ball went out of bounds from half field on the ground. The guy has cement for feet, but now everybody's seeing the goal. Rashford is strong. I go, no, he's always been bad. And the problem that Rashford has right now and Bruno has right now is that when Ole was there, they had the freedom to do whatever the hell they want. Now you can see they're being held to some kind of being held accountable, and they don't know how to respond.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of going, who the hell? I'm Rashford. And they don't know how to respond. So you can literally see it in your game. So it is what it is. But I think he has to make best with the players he has. His decision to not play Lingard, Donny, or Martial, I get it. Those players want to leave. But if I'm a coach and you go, you know what? I want to leave in January, right? Not because of something I've done. I'm still going to play you. I'm going to play my best players possible and hoping that maybe you might just go, you know what? I see a difference. But all the decisions Ole made when they had Ole, I always said it set them back 3-5 years. Well, it's starting to show because you can see in the locker room, there's the haves and have-nots. The people who used to play under Ole, even Rashford came back from surgery, hadn't been, and he went straight into the starting lineup. So if you're Martial and you send there going, what the fuck? I've been training, playing, I'm not getting in, and you put him in. So there's a divide in the locker room where they're like, okay, you guys used to get this. And Ralph is trying to get the people who did not play before to come on his side. So that's why I think you saw Luke Shaw literally said, I didn't feel like we were a team on the field. Well, Luke Shaw, he's the reason why they gave up that freaking goal. He didn't cut off the cross, but he goes and makes an interview going, I don't think people give 100%. Every time he got beat, he was jogging. So it's all they give the worst players the ego to feel they were better than what they are. And the good players are now going, okay, now we'll see. I'll leave for free. I want to transfer. And the coach is kind of caught in the middle, especially knowing that he's there for 6 months. So it's logic, man, but I tell you, logic escapes a lot of people, even smart people, sometimes lack common sense.
Yeah, no, I think it's a difficult situation for sure. But I think, like you were saying about the foundation of your house, you want that to be solid before you start worrying about the roof or, what color the house is on the outside and all these little details. Got to get your foundation right. For Manchester United, I think this is the perfect time to say, you know what? Time to start from scratch.
Yep.
Let's bring in a manager who we believe in his philosophy. We're going to bring in players who fit in that system. There was some idiot on Twitter the other day who told me, oh, if this was Guardiola or Klopp coaching this team would be 10 times better. I said, bullshit. Half of these people wouldn't be here because they're smart enough to know this is not a player who fits in my system. I don't want them to be here in the first place.
Yep.
So in order for United to succeed, doesn't matter who comes in as coach, whether it's Rangnick long-term, Eric Ten Hag, Mauricio Pochettino, whoever, the board has to be strong enough to say, you know what? We support you, bring in the players you think you need. Here's the current squad. Whoever you want to keep. Whoever you don't want to go, we'll work on getting them out. That's the only way United will succeed. But if they keep this wishy-washy kind of half yes, half no manager, yes, we will support you, but we also like these big name players, it's never going to work.
Yeah, and I think, or maybe, just maybe, I don't think the United people are that smart, but just maybe, that's what they're asking Ralph to do is just piss off as many people as you can so we can get them out the door. And then the new manager comes clean slate.
I don't think United is that smart. I think they're just hoping for a miracle so they can say, "Ooh, yep, we solved that one. All right, our butts are safe for now. Now on to buy the next $90 million player so everyone's happy again."
Yeah. You could get me going on United, so let me just tranquil, relax a little bit because I could just lose it on. Sometimes people go, "Are you sure you're a United fan?" I'm like, "No, I'm a United fan, but I'm a football fan first before United," and that's what people don't understand. I go, "Yeah, sure, I don't like Man City, but they have the club structure right. they have the philosophy, right? The players are playing good soccer. It's consistent. Yeah, you got to give them props. Just because they're a rival fan, you don't go, oh, screw that. No, it's still good football, and it shows, But unfortunately, too many people see football literally like religion. It's either my team and nobody else. I go, no, that's different. You're a freaking adult. It's one thing if you're a kid, man, but I'm a freaking adult, man. I'm not attaching myself to something that's dumb. That doesn't make sense. I'll support it. I want it to do well, but if somebody else is doing it better, I will give that person credit,
Yeah, no, it's crazy stuff, man. Especially all these weirdos on social media talking about United. Like, yeah, if you were in charge of a club, I think it would have burned to the ground a long time ago with the way
So half of these idiots can't even do their normal jobs right.
Well,
they couldn't even run McDonald's, let alone a football club. So I laugh at them when some of them, especially the ones that are coaches, they go, oh yeah, I'll do this, and then you see a team of theirs playing, you go, fuck, what are you talking about? You can't even do it with kids. How the hell are you going to do it with a professional team? You have to be on drugs,
No, and that's the part about Ranić that I don't think people understand. When you're coaching youth teams like we both do, yes, how you play, how you set up is dictated by the players you have. You can't go out and buy players. Obviously, if you want, you can recruit players or whatever, but that's a lot of work to be doing for a youth team. So you're better off just working with the kids you have. They're going to dictate the shape a little bit. And like I'm kind of finding out, they kind of dictate the style too. Like when I was at another club before, the players I had like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 very technical players, a lot of midfielders. So eventually we ended up playing a 4-4-2 diamond based on possession, and they were very deadly in transition. Now the new club I'm at, the kids maybe not quite as technical. I have a lot more wingers and outside midfielders than I do center midfielders. So now I'm stuck kind of, and I can't play any of the shapes that I'm used to playing with my other teams that I've had in the past because the style of the players is so different. So instead of fighting it and saying, oh, nope, you have to play my way, I'm going to bend a little bit, try to keep as much of my system that I like, but also play to the strengths of the players. Whereas
it makes sense,
with the professional team, you don't have to play to the strengths of the players that you have if you have the money that United have.
Yep.
Within the next 2 years, they have the power to get rid of any single player Ranić doesn't want and refill that squad with new players that he does want. Then you can say, yes, he's good, or no, he's bad.
But you got to look at it this way. You have to look at what their main objective is. If their main objective is to generate money, which is what United is, that's their main objective. Is right. We want to make money. We have the biggest fan.
You need Pogba.
Yep, so then you have to get the Zlatan, the Pogbas, and these are players. You have to get the players that will sell jerseys. If your objective is to win, then you end up buying the correct players, right? So, example, Wan-Bissaka has one decent year. The guy was a good defender. They go and buy him 50 million. Harry Maguire goes to whatever, has a decent year, goes to the World Cup, has decent. They go, oh, we got to buy the English player that had a decent year. Luke Shaw was predicted to be the next English, whatever.
Ashley Cole,
right? Let's go buy him, right? They go, Pogba, I think that was a good buy, but Pogba was a buy because of his marketability. The guy is a selling machine. Like, he understands, he's sophisticated enough with social media and stuff. That's why they like him. Same with Jesse Lingard. So if you look at Sancho, is the newest one that they've bought. Ronaldo. So if you look at these players, none of them literally complement each other. They were bought from a marketing standpoint. So when United is saying that, they're doing that math going, you know what? I could go buy Ousmane Dembele, but man, that guy will not sell as much. His name is not as trendy. They literally into account. And I don't know if you pay attention to like the back end, how United does stuff. Most clubs, when they want to sign a player, send like a football person. United send fucking lawyers. So what is a lawyer going to talk to you about? Oh, look at, we can get your this. If you look at Cristiano Ronaldo, at every club he's been at, he never after games. As soon as he came to United, oh, good job, guys. We try again next game. We'll go again, lads. All the United players, they post the most on social media. Why? I think it's actually in their contract, like you have to do this many posts per blah, blah, blah. I'm dead serious. You don't see that stuff from like Chelsea players as much when they lose. Liverpool players barely ever say anything. City players barely ever say anything. Real Madrid players, Barcelona, all the big clubs, their players barely write on social media. But United players, after every game, Marcus Rashford, his PR team, literally the guy sends out like an Instagram post 5 minutes after the game. I'm like, dude, you in the locker room, probably haven't even showered yet. The coach is probably talking to you. So all these things are scheduled by their PR people. So I think that's their problem. They have to make a decision whether they want to be a football club or they want to be a marketing club. And I think Arsenal was caught in that. Arsenal players do a lot of the marketing stuff too. And guess what? They don't win much either, So it's frustrating, but I get from the owner standpoint, they're still making a hell of money. So they're like, yo, screw it. They don't even know soccer. So they're business people. They just want to make money, which is the difference between them and the other clubs.
No, I agree. It's gonna be interesting, but I do think Arsenal kind of got lucky in a few things that they were able to bring some of these kids into the first team. They're performing well. They like Arteta. They like his style, and the balance has been pretty good. Give Arteta credit for bringing in Ramsdale and saying, you know what, this guy's kind of annoying. He interacts too much with the fans, but that's the kind of energy that I want back there instead of Leno, And then he brings in Gabriel, who was an idiot for getting sent off against City. He ruined what I thought in the first half has been the game of the season so far by getting sent off after 2 very stupid yellow cards. I still think Partey needs a midfield partner. Xhaka is garbage. I've been saying it year after year after year. This guy is garbage. Yes, he can pass the ball. Yes, he can strike it very well with his left foot, but he can't run. He can't tackle. And every now and then he does something very stupid, like giving away that PK. Xhaka has to go. This team does not get better if Xhaka remains in that team. Tierney, awesome left back. Tomiyasu, fucking ridiculous right back. Smith Rowe can't even get in the team because Saka, Martinelli, and Odegaard are just killing it. And then Lacazette, I feel bad for him because Arsenal's talking about bringing in a new striker. He's doing just fine. So maybe it's an ageism thing where they're like, yeah, he's getting kind of old. Maybe he's past his prime. Let's bring in someone younger, which is fine if you can do it. But I actually think Lacazette's doing a good enough job for Arsenal.
I mean, they're a young team. I think the issue is going to come is they're not deep enough. And when you have the Smith Rowe, all those type of kids, Saka is 19, he'll be 20. So by 23, if they haven't won anything, they'll be looking for the next move, kind of like what Raheem Sterling did. I think that's the unfortunate part is they have the young players now, but everybody ahead of them is getting even stronger because financially they have the money to just, whether they buy from Arsenal or somebody else, they'll go and buy. Jack Grealish can't even get into the City team, Though United is a shit show right now, if they decide, what, we really want to do it right, they have the money to do it right. So they could quickly turn it around. Chelsea, we know, freaking their owners, one of the owners' yacht is actually more expensive than the whole Arsenal Football Club. So that alone tells you that it's like money is not an issue for him. So that's where the soccer becomes, if you look at all the leagues, the teams that have the most money win. It's just that 1 year that Leicester pulled it off, but even them, their Thai owner is pretty rich,
Yeah,
So it's a money thing, and I think Arsenal's owners are pretty cheap. That's why I think Liverpool will fall off. Because if you do the math, Liverpool haven't done that. They've done okay under Klopp, but it's been there 6 years. They've had 2 trophies, 1 Champions League and 1 league. And this year looks like they won't get anything else. They haven't gotten any cups, nothing. So let's just say this year they don't get the league, they don't get Champions League, and next year they don't get anything. That's 2 trophies in 8 years. That's not a good return. Pep is doing 3 per year. So those are
But
the
if you
stuff that
look at
people
that,
forget.
it's all domestic trophies, and it's hard for Liverpool to win when you have City to compete with. I mean, there was that year where it went down to what, like a
Yeah,
point,
1 point. Yeah, it was 1 point. But
and
that's what I'm saying is that,
they're breaking the record for goals scored and points accumulated and win streaks and all that. That's hard to keep up, man.
yeah. So I think Liverpool, what they're riding on is right now is Klopp. If Klopp leaves tomorrow, Liverpool becomes a fifth, sixth place type of team.
Oh, of
Literally,
course.
they're riding his energy is literally driving the team to where they're going.
It has
So
to.
if he was to step out, but what I'm saying is Pep has built the team to a point. If Pep steps out tomorrow, I think the team will still be running. Or still at least have enough juice for like maybe 3 to 5 years before the juice runs out. That's the thing that unfortunately I always told people. I like Sir Alex Ferguson, but there's nobody that came from under him. He has no disciples that became a great coach because Fergie wasn't a good coach. He was a good manager. And managers are it's hard to teach someone how to be a good manager. It's either you're born with it or you're not.
Yeah.
So he couldn't translate that. Pep is not a good manager per se, but he's a good coach. You can teach somebody how to be. So I think that's why as soon as Fergie stepped out, everything fell apart. So everything was literally on his shoulders. The success was literally built on him. If you look at, and you can go through the Bielsa, all these type of coaches, they have disciples. Even let's say Ragnar here, he has disciples that came from underneath him because he's a coach. He's not a manager. So I think unfortunately that's where the United missed a big boat, is that when Fergie was there, they took his special talents to manage people. He was winning his last year that he coached. He won the league with Fletcher, West Brown. Can you believe this? These are not Valencia right back, Smalling. These were not high level players, but he said them to achieve, to perform above what their abilities are. So that's what I think it is. For me personally, I think if you're a good coach, you should be able to get people to come from underneath, become good coaches too.
Yeah.
You should be able to take the blueprint and whatnot. And then if you're lucky enough and you are a good manager and a coach, I think a coach like Ancelotti, I think he's a good manager and a coach. I think somebody like what's his name at Atletico Madrid,
Simeone.
Simeone. I think he's a good manager and a coach.
Yep.
But there's very few in between. Like Zidane is not a good coach, but he's
No,
a good
good
manager.
manager. And that's what I was telling one of my Real Madrid buddies, that they have to keep going back and forth between Zidane and Ancelotti. Ancelotti can do both sides. He can do the managing and he can do the coaching. Zidane, mostly just the managing. People always want to play for Zidane.
Yep.
It's not one of those two. They're going to be in some trouble.
Oh, yeah, they will.
But right now, they look like they're building the foundation so that somebody can come in who maybe has the coaching side of it and take off with the squad. Like Kamavinga, once Kroos and Modric and Casemiro are ready to step down, he's good. They just need to bring in one or two more. And I actually love Federico Valverde. I think he's
I like him.
fielder, but he can't get a kick of the ball. If he
And I heard United was in for him. What was it last summer? I thought it was serious. I wish they would have done it.
Yeah, no, but if it, yeah, dude, Valverde with Rangnick style, I think would be pretty lethal. But that's another tale for another time. But back to Real Madrid, if you keep Valverde there, you have Camavinga there. You just need to bring in one more, and your midfield is complete. Pretty young midfield for another 5-6 years. Up front, Mbappe, Benzema has a few years left in him. Vinicius Jr. And they're talking about maybe even trying to get Holland as well. That's another strike team that'll last you another 5-6 years. Backline, Alaba's maybe getting a little bit older, but you have Eder Militao. He's okay. Maybe they need to get another right back. Mendy on the left side, solid. Courtois solid.
No, but they'll bring Reguilon back, and they have a buyback clause in this thing for like I think 32 million.
Yeah, but
so that was good business.
They don't need Reguilon back. Mendy, I think, is a perfect left back. They need to buy a right back for sure, though.
Yeah, I think Madrid they'll need I think they need.
And your boy Rudiger
they need-
supposedly wants to go there too. So I think
Yeah,
defensively,
they're coming down on him. They're not as sure about him. I think they need two center backs and a right back, to be honest. Then they'll be good. I
nah,
don't think Militao is good enough, to be honest.
I think he's good enough. I don't think he's good, but I think he's good enough.
He's not good. I don't think he's good to win your Champions League, the stuff that they aim for. Every game he has two mistakes in him. And, as the higher you go, one of those two mistakes will turn into a goal, or if not two. So that's my biggest problem that I have with freaking Harry Maguire, those type of players, even Varane, they have like two mistakes in them every game. And unfortunately, at that level, one of them gets scored. And all of a sudden you're chasing a game, It's not a position where I can go, yeah, you can have two mistakes or hold a midfielder, McTominay receiving a ball, not receiving across his body. And literally, I don't know if you saw the Wolves game, like 3 times he received the ball with the near foot and literally opened it up. The Ruben Neves just took the ball, went straight to United's goal and shot. I'm like, at what point are you going to realize at this age, even for kids, I tell kids you have to receive across your body, and he's getting paid money to not receive across his body. Those are like simple stuff that I don't think you can teach, especially once a player reaches, you can teach it. So Militao, if you watch him, he does the same stuff that what's his name at PSG does that pisses me off. Kempembe and Gabriel at Arsenal does the same thing too. Players in front of you, they're going towards their own goal. There's no need to make contact, but they'll come in aggressively and they'll wrap their arms around them. And I'm like, why would you? And then the referee blows a whistle and they'll go, what? Why go? Okay, they were facing their own goal. You grab them. Now they get a free kick. They turn, they face your own goal. And if you watch Kempembe and Gabriel at Arsenal, just the next time you watch them, just watch. Player will be receiving the ball. No need. Just stand behind them. There's no threat. And they'll just go in and hit them or grab them. Oh, I'm like, nope, you don't understand how the game works. And unfortunately, I think at somebody not come in their head and say, yep, being aggressive at all times makes sense. But there's some places and sometimes you don't need to be aggressive. You just have to let the game play itself out. And that's what I have when I have center backs. It's my biggest pet peeve when a player is going away from your goal and they step in and commit a foul. I go, how does that make outside backs, any position, but especially in the back line, it pisses me off, Did we hit all our stuff? Oh, we didn't. Bayern Munich is doing their thing in Bundesliga, so I think they got that locked down. So we can skip them for now.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting next few months. This after the breaks, January, people kind of catch up on their league, their cup matches, and then February shit gets real. Champions League back on. Start to see who's ready to win, who's ready to go home crying.
Yeah, I've been waiting. I'm waiting for Champions League. I really want to see some pretty good matchups. I want to see the United Atletico one.
Nah, that game's gonna be boring. I don't want to watch that. That's a waste of time. But the Real Madrid PSG game,
that's Hey, it is what it is, man.
Do you know if Mbappe transfers this winter, will he be able to play?
No, he can't.
Or he'll be ineligible because he's already played with another club.
Yeah, he'll be ineligible, so that kind of sucks for him. But
he should just wait until summer then. Lock on pockets of money.
Hey man, he's probably the kid sitting in the best position in the world right now going, PSG, if they have to sell me for 200 million. If I walk for free, it'll suck my reputation for PSG, but I pocket 100 million. That's what I think his dad is asking for. 50% of what they will pay for him if they buy him. So the dad will get that, and I think you probably get those split at 50 mil. Fuck. Hell, man, I need to be reborn, man. I gotta get some of that money, man.
Well, I think we hit it all for now. Like I said, some good Italian Serie A games coming up tomorrow. Um, some Bundesliga action this weekend. They'll be back as well. Some La Liga games. So there'll be lots to talk about next week.
Yeah, for sure. And then for those watching, getting all this knowledge for free, don't forget to subscribe, man.
Yeah, subscribe, like, comment, tell us what else you guys want us to talk about. If you have some opinions that you need us to split or break down, we definitely love to know those things. So like, share, subscribe, comment, all of the above.
I think one of these days, man, you might have to share for our fans, how you finally beat me in youth soccer, how you broke me down, what tactics did you use?
Nah, that was some crazy stuff, man.
I want to get the inside your game plan that day.
Nah, the first time was serendipity. That was just due to the stupidity of your goalkeeper. The second time I actually had a plan.
The second one, the one at National Sports Center.
That was also your goalie stupidity, but that game I actually had a plan. And to be fair, in that one, the first 10 minutes, I thought we would have had 5 or 6 past you guys. But of course, your best friend who plays for you now didn't want to put the ball in the back of the net.
You can't beat them, join them, man. Rule of life.
Yep, that's how it goes. All right, guys, we're signing off now. This is Rick.
I am Body in the house. You know it.
All right, AX Football. We'll see you guys next week.
Later.